Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be talking about and reviewing an anime that came out a couple years ago, which is a really good anime, by the way. It might be one of my favorites. It is called Gakkougurashi, I think that's how you say it, or English name School Live. We're just going to refer to it as School Live because I don't know if I'm saying the Japanese name correctly or not. I did a sort of review on this a few videos back. I had read the first volume of the manga, and I did a little bit of talking about that. Before we get into this video, I just want to say that probably will be spoilers throughout this video. So if you haven't seen it and you want to see it and you don't want to be spoiled, then don't watch this video. But the things I want to talk about I have to spoil some things, I guess, to talk about what I want to talk about in this anime. I gave it an 8 out of 10 on my anime list, and it's scored as a 7.7 overall on my anime list. So, as you should know, if you know about the series, it's about 4 girls in the zombie apocalypse living in their school. Now, through the first video, you don't find out till the end that they're in a zombie apocalypse, and if you don't know anything about this series, and then you just dive into it, and then you find out they're in a zombie apocalypse, it hits you hard. What's kind of weird about this anime is that it is in the horror genre as well as the slice of life genre. I don't think I've seen an anime that has been in both of these genres. I don't know. Maybe Higurashi? Is Higurashi both horror and slice of life? I wouldn't know. But I think it's kind of weird that this anime is in both of those genres. It is in more than just those two genres. It is also in mystery, psychological, and school. Mystery, I guess it's kind of mysterious in a way. Psychological, if you've seen the series or read the manga, you know the psychological aspect to this series, and it's basically that Yuki is unable to accept the reality that the world has gone to shit and that they're in a zombie apocalypse. So every day of her life, she continues to go to class every day like she normally would, and she talks to people who are dead. She talks mainly to Megune, however you say that. It was her teacher as well as the teacher of the 2 other students that are with her. There's another girl that was also a student at the high school, but she was in a different class as them. Anyway, so that teacher, this is a spoiler for instance, that teacher had died, and because she died, Yuki, she still sees her around. The teacher still follows them around everywhere, and all the 3 other girls play along with Yuki and pretending that the teacher is still there, when in fact she's really not, which is kind of weird but interesting, and I can understand why they would do that, because they don't want to, they don't want to break Yuki down. She's unable already as it is to face the reality, and then to try to tell her that the teacher that she's been seeing and talking to all this time isn't alive. It's I can understand that. But watching through the first episode, before they even reveal that they're in the zombie apocalypse, I think it is actually pretty apparent before that reveal that something is off. Something is kind of weird. How only Yuki is able to talk to these people and see them, and they talk to her, but the other girls don't talk to them at all. And Yuki's imagination doesn't talk to them. So I think well, I had, prior to watching this series, I had read the first volume of the manga, so I already knew what was up. But I think that maybe that maybe just, the average person will be able to catch on to that before the reveal of the zombie apocalypse. Um, so yeah, I mean, just whatever about that. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words right now. Also, I want to, and with that, I just want to say, Yuki, she imagines all these things happening, and I think that this series is a really good but fucked up series. It really messes with your mind. It truly does, because you'll be going through this whole episode, and everything will look fine and dandy. The school looks clean and neat, and the windows are all clean and shiny and clear, and sun's out and it's so beautiful. And then like some cute thing happens and you're smiling. You're like, oh yeah, this is really cool. And then the next second, it completely changes. It shows the reality of how it is. It shows the blood stains. It shows the broken windows. It shows just all the it just shows all the I can't think of a word right now. It just shows the reality, and then it just completely wipes that smile off your face, and you're like, holy shit. And I think it is that's where the horror aspect of this comes in. I don't think that because it is a zombie series that makes it into a horror. I mean, but with this kind of mind fuckery here, where everything looks cool and nice, and then it just immediately changes to remind you of the reality, I think that is true horror in my mind. I think that really did freak me out and kind of scare me, and I think that it is deserving of the horror genre. I think because without that, I probably wouldn't even consider this to be a horror series. So I think the creators and stuff did really well with this, and I think that they couldn't have done this better. There's not too much like blood and guts and stuff like that, but I think that there's enough in the series to get that point across. I'm saying like everything's fine, and then it shows just all the bad shit that had happened. And then also, throughout the series, you see some shit, and then after you see it, you're like, oh fuck, man, I did not want to see that. At least for me, when you see the teacher again, but as a zombie, that's that was the one point where I was like, holy fuck, I did not want to see that. Because it kind of ruins the atmosphere, I guess, because you're going through the series in the mind of Yuki, where the teacher is still alive, and and it just ruins it when you see her as a zombie like that. But I think that they did that really well, because that also adds to the horror aspect of this series. But I really enjoyed this series. I think it was bright and colorful, and I think that's partly why I enjoy this series. I don't think many horror type of series in anime, as well as outside of anime, are able to do that. Like, for instance, The Walking Dead, that's kind of a more, I know that's not an anime, but it's more of a darker kind of series, and there's just no way. I mean, you could see a blue sky and the sun out, and, some white clouds, but that's a series that doesn't show a brighter, side to it, like with this series. You can see color, vibrant colors, and everything's cool and happy. And then, like I said, it changes and shows the reality of it, and I think that really adds to this horror aspect. Also, I think that's pretty much it had to say about this, but I want to talk about the end real quick. I think, um, I enjoyed this anime all the way through, especially, because it's slice of life. Slice of life. I love slice of life. They even had the beach scene in there without the beach, which was really nice. They even, had that shopping scene with the mall. Um, so it definitely did feel like a slice of life to me. And for me, slice of life, the endings are always a little bit anticlimactic. Slice of lives, they always, well, not always, but typically end with like a graduation. Like, for instance, Lucky Star, they ended with their graduation. There's this other one, I can't remember the name. The name is too long and confusing to say, but they also ended with a graduation. Or for instance, Himoto Umaru-chan, that one just ended. It's not really much there, although I love the series a lot. Sakamoto Desuga, that also ended with the graduation and with him moving to the U.S. So, at the end of the series, they have their own little graduation and they leave the school. So I think that was a fitting ending for a slice of life genre. But for the horror part of this, I think it was very anticlimactic. I don't think that in a zombie type of series that there isn't really a correct way to end that series, because you could, and at one point in the series I thought that everyone was gonna die, and if everyone dies, then at the end of it you're kind of like, what the fuck, man, and it takes you by surprise, and you're just like, what the fuck, and you don't know what to think about it. Where also on the other side, if they all survive and they get away with it or whatever, and something happens and they have find a cure or whatever, they fight back and then it ends like that. That's really anticlimactic, and you're just like, wow, that was kind of a boring and sucky ending. Um, but also, um, it couldn't just end with them still staying at the school like that, because then it'd just be like, what the hell, what happens to them? So I think is for the horror aspect and, part of this series, I don't think there's any correct way to end this series. And like I said, the ending that they had for it was pretty anticlimactic for me, at least. But the slice of life part of it was pretty spot on. I think it was fitting for that. Um, Also, I forgot to mention the point. Fuck, I can't remember her name. That one white-haired chick that they found at the mall, and she was with her friend Kay. Her name was. Um, her friend Kay. It was Miki. Her name is Miki, and she was at the mall with her friend Kay. And I hate the fact that Kay just left her there. Um, After a while, she left her friend Miki there at the mall, and we never saw from her again. And through the whole series, I was just like, what the fuck? And it kind of pissed me off because I wanted to know what happened to this character. Now, at the end, as they're leaving the school, you find out that she really did die, and I figured, I had probably 90% of my mind, going for that she had died, and I was correct. She did die, which kind of sucks. But through the whole series, I was like, what the fuck? Where is she? What happened to her? And that kind of pissed me off. But then we find out that she did die, and it's kind of sad. Um, Also, after the credits, they show that someone finds that letter from the balloon that they had sent off earlier in the series, and I don't know what that's all about. Um, but whatever. So I guess that's my review about this series. I really enjoyed it. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. I watched the series from start to finish. I didn't watch anything else. It was one that is a series that grasped my attention and held on to it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. But that's all I have to say about it. There's supposedly parody opening spin-off or something for this series called Gakkougurashi or Tokyo Live. It's an ONA. It's only like one episode. I don't know. I think I'll check that out and watch it. I don't know what it's about. It says background animation was released by Nitro Plus as an April Fool's prank. April Fool's prank, complete with an official website announcing a full TV series. Their website was closed shortly after. So I guess it was just a prank. That's kind of for like a sequel of it or something. I don't know. Overall, I really enjoyed this series. I think it was good. I don't know if I would read the manga or not. I did read the first volume, but so yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, I recommend you go watch it. And that's all I have to say about that. And I think that's where we're going to end this video. So as always, there's going to be a little subscribe circle right there. And there will be 2 videos over here on the side. You can check those out. I also have probably like 30 other videos on my channel, so you can check out my channel. And that's it. Thanks for watching. You guys will see me next time.